Welcome to another edition of Disability and You. I'm Ganesh Singh. On this edition, I will be having a conversation with representatives of ChildLink Guyana, and they're here to share with us what are some of the activities for Child Protection Week and what are some of the services they provide as one of the leading organizations that promote and protect the rights of our children. Later on, I will also be having a conversation with a representative of the Ministry of Health Rehabilitation Department, and that individual will be sharing information on their plans for Spinal Cord Injury Month. So without further ado, I will introduce you to Miss Tiana.
Jordan.
Yes, Miss Tiana Jordan and Miss Ashom Clark, and they're from ChildLink Guyana, as I said earlier. Ashom, we want to start with you. This year, the team was coined Standing Together with Me to protect all children living in Guyana. I want to get from you what this team means to your organization.
Hi, morning everyone. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon or this morning with our viewers. For us at ChildLink, when we look at the team speak to us in terms of a collective action. It speaks also awareness of safeguarding the well-being and the rights of all children in Guyana, which include, we know we have the migrants here too, so it speaks to all children. So for us at ChildLink, we do believe this is a time where a collective action where we speaks to agencies, not only NGOs, but government, civil society. It speaks to stakeholders such as teachers, police, the health sector, all of us playing a key role when it comes to child protection.
So it's a collective effort by all
Yes.
involved. Tiana, what are some of the services you guys provide at ChildLink?
Yes, so hello everyone. At ChildLink, we provide a number of services to children and families. We provide counseling services, that's trauma counseling to victims of child abuse. We also do parental skills education, whereby we would, you know, train parents, work with them, teach them certain things, improve their parenting skills. We also have a drive project which is focused on working with children in conflict with the law and diverting them so that they can develop to their full potential. We currently have a communities responding in emergencies project whereby we provide support to migrant children and families. Ashom, is there some things you would like to
Yes.
add to those?
Yes, we recently concluded a project called the 1000 Boys Project, which focused on child sexual abuse as related to boys. And this project not only focused with boys, but it's focused with girls too. So we did a lot of work, awareness work. We did a lot of sensitization in schools, in communities. We did a lot of radio, television that speaks of protection and the safety of our boys and girls. And we also do reintegration of children back into family-based care. So we work collaboratively with the National Child Protection Agency for most of our project when it comes to children and families.
Yes, and we also wrapped up earlier this year our One Life 2 project.
Which focus on working with children with mild autism.
So there's a number of different projects that you
Yes.
guys are involved with or would have implemented over
Yes, over
the recent past
Yes, that's correct.
to promote the rights of children, but at the same time help to protect those children.
Yes.
Yes.
What are some of the current services other than just raising awareness and working with members of our society, including children? But what are some of the actual services you provide in cases that, where children would have been abused or, they would have suffered trauma and so on? What are some of the direct services you provide?
So we have a number of child advocacy centers. These centers are set up in different regions that provide services for children who sexually abused. Blossom also have two, so it's a collaborative effort. These services focus basically When you collectively, if a child is being sexually abused, we report it to the police, the Child Care and Protection Agency, and a collective body come together so the child or the children can be interviewed once. That's a forensic interview we call, and the child will tell the story. There is a report that is documented, and then the police will take over, forward it to the DPP. So that's the process when it comes to. And we also do counseling. So if persons call in or persons walk in, we provide services to children and family. We also do parental education. We go to the schools. We do awareness. We do group discussion. So there's a number of things that we're currently doing that persons can have access to.
Yeah. Um, this year's theme that was coined. What do you want the public to understand? As advocates working in this field or as service providers, what do you want the public to take away from this year's theme? What do you want them to understand as it means to stand together to protect our children? What do you want them to take away?
So for me,
Go ahead, Ashu, and then we'll go to
it said stand together with me to protect Guyana's children. Guyana's children mean all children, which is include the migrants, because the migrants are part of us. Now, what I would like the public to take away is safeguard. It's important that you report. It's important that you prevent. It's important that we work together. So if you see something, you hear something, report it. Community get involved. Parents get involved. Teachers get involved. The health sector get involved. The government involved. All of us play a role when it comes to protection of our children in Guyana. So for me, I want parents to have that open conversation that the children or the child can come and speak to them about any matter concerning abuse. Anything. Teachers must give a listening ears. The community also may look at. So you might see a child being home and you want to know why is this child home whole day, and you some person says not my business, I'm not paying attention. But I think that as community members and citizens, I think we should pay an interest of the well-being of a child, because every child have right for education. Why this child is home, what is happening, find out, get involved, because as the team said, stand together with me. So it's all of us coming together for the safety and the protection of all children in Guyana.
And we need to get back to that point where the child is brought up by a community. We need to look out for every child within that community and be vigilant.
Yes.
Because teachers play a significant role in observing a child, their attendance, if that child comes with or behavioral patterns, that child might come with marks, and those things that teacher would spend a lot of time with that child, more sometimes than the parents.
Yes.
So they need to be very observant, and at the same time, members of the community also need to be vigilant. Tiana, you were gonna add before Ashum would have.
Just to add to what Ashum would have said, I think the theme, well, for me, it's a reminder that child protection is a shared responsibility. I want to highlight a research that was done by ChildLink, the Caring for Boys research. And in that research, we would have found that two positive social norms that contribute to the prevention of child sexual abuse is communication and parental supervision. So I just want to speak to parents. They play a big role in their child's life when it comes to ensuring their safety and well-being. So communication is very important. Ensure that you create that space, that environment for your child to come to you, that environment so that your child can trust you, with anything. So in the instance that something happens, that child would feel free to come to you and tell you that, oh mommy, this happened, or daddy, this happened. And parental supervision, I want to stress more on when it comes to online, the internet, and these devices, because we know children, they have access to all these devices these days. And so when it comes to ensuring that they are safe from any online danger, predators are lurking online. So just ensure that you supervise them, ensure what they're up to on their phones, their tablets, who they're talking to, who their friends are, and so on. Yeah, so that's just my input.
Yeah, and the internet is a major source um, where predators or a major source of predators preying on children.
Definitely.
And it's something that we hear about in the developed world, but it's very much present here.
Yes.
We don't get the reports, or we don't have
Data.
the data, but we know it exists.
Yes.
Um, Based on your experience working in the field and providing actual services, both Tian and Ashum, you guys can take this. What are some of the challenges you guys encounter as it relates to children rights being violated? What are some of those instances that you can share? Not actual cases, but what are some of the common threats?
I think one of the things that I notice I can talk about is culture and norms. Some community is acceptable. Some community, because it's a norm, what we call as beating, is acceptable behavior when it comes to child abuse in any form. People, it's okay, but those are some of the challenges when you go into the community because of my culture, because of my upbringing, because of my socialization. It's okay. My mother used to beat me, my father used to beat me, so it's okay if I do the same thing. Some people say parent the way you used to be parent. So all of that can be challenges. Some of the challenges that I think is children face is when it comes to access to quality education. Not all children has the means and the provision to, in terms of transportation, in terms of getting, quality education because of poverty, because of crime, because of abuse. Those are some of the things that we find can be very challenging when you go to work with families and children in communities.
Tiana, anything to add to what Ashum would have shared?
Just to add to what Ashom would have said, I think when I first started working with Childlink, because I'm not in the field of child protection for as long as Ashom would have been, there was a case where I think this girl, she was sexually abused by her pastor, and at Childlink we would have written a letter advocating to all faith-based organizations for them to you know step up and ensure that there is no cover up being done within their organization, ensure that they continue to report and prevent and ensure that children are safe within their organizations. So this is something that would have shocked me, and to see that is happening, and persons are not doing anything to maybe raise awareness to this. So I want to the work that Childlink is doing is really good. I play a major part in that now. When it comes to children again and their parents, they I want to say that when that child goes to their parents, sometimes one of the thing, maybe with the culture here in Guyana, the parents might not want to listen to that child. Sometimes they themselves might be going through something, might be stressing over a financial situation or something. So if that child comes to them, wants some quality time with them, they would just not pay any attention to that child, and then that child would go looking for attention elsewhere. So that's something that would contribute to them being in maybe being sexually abused, or yeah.
Or further being abused.
Yeah.
Because if you don't open that way to a safe space that a child can express or to share, you find that
But
they
that is
can be further abused.
that is the problem, because many parents, because of the power dynamics that exist in parents-children relationship, where the parents are seen as authority figures and children do not feel comfortable, and the same in schools. So many children will be suffering, and I'm sure you guys would have experienced this, but they're afraid, or they're not comfortable in sharing. But as you correctly said, you need a safe space. You need to have an open relationship with the children, whether you're a parent, whether you're a teacher, whether you're just a caregiver. You need to facilitate that open conversation with that child. Ashum, Tiana, anything else that you want to share with the public out there as it relates to protecting our children?
One of the things I will wrap up by saying that each and every one of us need a support system. All the children need a support system. They need to know that somebody's there for them, that they can talk to, somebody who can listen to them, somebody who can walk them through the process from the beginning to the end. So I want to encourage persons who have children, those who come in contact with children, to be there. Just be supportive. Ensure that the child or the children get the necessary care and protection that they need did. And remember, I said that this is a collective effort and action. So all of us working together for the safety and the protection of all children living in Guyana.
Excellent. Ashok?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Tiana.
Yes.
So my apologies.
I just want to remind persons that each and every one of us have a responsibility to ensure that children are safe, to ensure that they develop to their full potential, and I also want to encourage persons to reach out to us on any one of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook at Childlink Inc. We're on Instagram at Childlink_Guyana, and we're also on Twitter at Childlink Guyana. So if you need help with anything, you can just send us a quick message, and someone from our team will reach out to you.
With me is Kamini Reddy, who is a physiotherapist with the Rehabilitation Department, Ministry of Health, and she is stationed at the PALMS Physiotherapy Department. Kamini, welcome to Disability and You.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh.
Yeah, she is here to discuss spinal cord injury, more so some of the activities that her department has planned for Spinal Cord Injury Month, which we are currently observing. Kamini, before we get into the activities, explain to us spinal cord injury. What is spinal cord injury? Help the lay person to understand.
Alright, so a spinal cord injury is damage to any part of the spinal cord or the nerves at the end of the spinal canal. So usually the most common causes of a spinal cord injury is a motor vehicular accident, fall, a gunshot wound, sports injuries, surgical complication, or even due to diseases like cancer.
Mm-hmm. And those are the common ones that you guys would encounter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So why do we need to observe Spinal Cord Injury Month?
Alright, so September is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. So we need to raise awareness so that persons can usually when a person have a spinal cord injury, what they do, they just shut themselves out of the world. They stay indoors most of the times, and they become a vegetable and just lay in bed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now these persons can be rehabilitated and be functional. So most of them might not be able to walk again, but we have services such as physiotherapy, occupational therapy.
Yeah, before we get into the services, let's just zero in on this awareness, because that's one of the main focus of the month of activities, right?
Yeah.
To raise awareness, help people to understand that there are services and there is life after a spinal cord injury.
Correct.
Excellent. Before we get into your services, tell us what are some of the activities you have planned for this month,
Well,
this year's observances.
Well, tomorrow, we at the PALMS Rehab Department will be having a spinal cord injury forum. So the whole aim or point of that forum is to educate and bring awareness to the public about persons living with spinal cord injury. We also use that opportunity to also educate and share information with persons living with spinal cord injury. And of course, they also share back information with us as to their challenges and stuff like that that they would encounter living with a spinal cord injury.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things is having a forum where both sides share information, the service providers and the persons who are living with spinal cord injuries. Are there any other activities?
No, just the forum that we have tomorrow.
Excellent. And let's get to the services that are provided by your department for persons with spinal cord injury.
Well, we have physiotherapy and we have also occupational therapy. So now both of these therapies work to help persons with a spinal cord injury to reach their maximum functional capacity.
So explain the difference, because sometimes I'm sure there are members of the public who might not understand the difference between occupational therapy and physio.
So physiotherapy is a set of techniques such as exercise, manipulation. We use modalities to help persons to regain their movement, their general functional mobility back. While occupational therapy, it kind of overlaps with each other, but occupational therapy takes it a little further to help persons to be functional in their activities of daily living, such as dressing, brushing their teeth, getting them back to be able to function in their work environment. So that in itself might entail certain adaptation needs to be done to the work environment so that those persons can function in their work environment.
Excellent. So the occupational therapy mainly deals with adapting to the environment, adapting
Yes.
to living
Correct.
with a disability or a spinal cord injury. Is spinal cord injury very common?
In our department, we do see a number of cases, but there is no actual data as to how many persons we have with spinal cord injury. And a lot of times, persons do not reach out to access these services. So, like I said, they just shut themselves in.
Because they feel that, I have acquired this injury and that's it, that's the end of
Yeah.
it. Explain some of the success stories. I know you guys would have been providing services, as you said, with physiotherapy and then occupational therapy. Are persons able to regain some level of independence? What are some of the success stories that you would have seen since working within that department?
Well, not everyone will go back to 100% how they used to be before
Yeah,
the
that's a
injury,
given, yeah.
right? And most of them might not be able to walk again. But the goal of the therapy is to help them to reach their maximum functional ability, right? So even if that entails at a wheelchair level, so that they can function, they can maneuver themselves around, they can do stuff for them, or even getting them back to functioning back at work.
And you would have seen cases like that,
Yes,
where persons are able to gain some level of independence.
yes, correct.
And I just want you to further highlight or explain that there is life after spinal cord injuries, where persons with support from your department and your colleagues and yourself can be able to live a relatively normal life. Have you seen many persons, or have you seen anyone at all going back or getting a job after you have been through therapy at your facility?
Currently, I'm not aware of anybody, but I'm pretty sure there are persons who would have benefited from these services and have gone back to working.
And it is all about them accepting that this is the new norm,
Correct.
and this is what I need to do in order to be able to live life. The therapy for someone with spinal cord injury, is this something that's continuous, or do you provide them with exercise regime that they need to follow?
Yeah, so usually they would come to the department and we would go through the exercise program and so on with them. So they need to continuously come to the department. What happens sometimes because of the challenges to get to the department, a lot of persons are unable to
Yeah, the transportation.
yeah
I'm
to
sure.
to get to the department. So in those cases, we go through the exercise program and the stuff that they need to get done, and we put them on a home program. But we always encourage that they come as much as possible to the department.
And are these services decentralized, where persons, let's say someone living in region 2 or probably region 6, can they access these services in those regions through the rehab department, or they need to travel to Georgetown?
Yes, so we have departments in various regions around the country. So yes, persons can access those services in those outer regions as well.
So it's decentralized.
Yes,
But it's important for persons not to just lay at home,
correct.
but get support.
Get the help they need. Yeah.
Because many persons feel that they're gonna go to a doctor, and it's gonna be fixed with some medication and so on. But people do not accept that therapy plays a big part. What do you have to say to those persons?
Well, for persons who may be at home, probably shutting themselves out from the world, they feel hopeless. You can reach out to us at the Palms Rehab Department. We can work with you to for you to reach your maximum functional ability. So yeah, you should come out and try to access these services.
And these persons, do they need to acquire assistive aids once you help them to regain some level of independence?
Some of them might, yeah, will also require assistive devices and so.
Mhm. And some of these are?
Some of them might need a caliper to maybe be able to stand and stuff like that.
And then you have wheelchairs.
We have wheelchairs as well too, yeah.
Okay. So in some cases, you need assistive or mobility aids to be able to function.
Yes, correct.
Camille, is there anything else that you want to share with the public as we observe another spinal cord injury month?
I would just like to say, for persons who have a spinal cord injury, there's help out there for you. You just need to reach out to us. The first step is accepting that you have a spinal cord injury, and reach out to us. There's help available for you.
And the help is free of cost.
It's free of cost, correct?
Definitely. Camille, I want to thank you very much for sharing with the public on the services provided by your department and how important it is to access those services in order to be able to regain some level of independence once you've acquired an injury, a spinal cord injury.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh, for having me.
You're most welcome. And thank you for joining another edition of Disability in You. I'm Ganesh, and I'll be back next time for another edition where I will continue to share information on current affairs in the disability community and also raise awareness on the issues affecting persons living with disabilities within our society. Goodbye, and do stay safe.